How do you think we can start that narrative with young people?
It involves everybody. Everybody should be involved. The fact that it seems like our votes do not always count doesn't mean we should not get our PVCs, not get involved. We should get involved. Everybody has to get involved. And leading up to the elections, media houses, influencers, individuals, churches, mosques, everybody has to be involved in the whole process. There should be communications encouraging people to go get their PVCs. There should be communications encouraging people to vote with their conscience, vote right, think about, critically analyze whoever it is that they want to vote for, and then make sure. And there should also be communications to encourage people not to just vote for a president. One man cannot do it. One single person cannot do it. It takes the Senate, it takes the House of Reps, it takes your own House of Assembly guys, it takes your councillors to effect change across all levels. So everybody should make sure that they are involved in the process, and then that should be the communication. Every opportunity you have to speak to a crowd, tell them, go get your PVC. If you're an employer, I'm not saying you should bully your employees into getting their PVCs, but encourage them. Give them a few hours off to go, queue up for it and all that. So yeah, the conversations, everybody who's listening is involved.
Yeah.
You don't say because you don't have a
said
platform.
something about government putting out patriotic, sort of. And I wonder how viable that is, because I mean, apathy works for politicians.
Yes, it does. It actually does.
They like apathy.
Especially a politician, or let's say a government that does not do very well. If you don't do very well, you want apathy, you want division, you want the other camp to fight amongst themselves. You basically want people to not come out to vote, so you can inflate figures to to support your cause and all that. So is the government going to support communications to encourage people to get their PVC? I highly doubt that, because to be honest, they show and I keep referencing Big Brother Nigeria because it was seen by millions of people. Imagine the National Orientation Organization, or whatever they are called these days, agency, had a slot in BB Nigeria to encourage people to get their PVCs. But it's not in their interest. It's not in their interest at all. So they won't do it. It takes the opposition to, come to see. Leading up to the elections, there are still plenty of possible candidates. But leading up to the elections, I feel like we're all going to finally align behind one person. I hope that happens on time. So people who are not yet ready to get involved actually know they should get involved. Communication should lead up to that. Everybody, you meet your neighbor, you meet somebody in a bus, instead of standing up to preach, and standing up to tell people get your PVCs. However it is you can do it, you do it.
You want to say something?
Yeah, when you guys mentioned PVC, guys, you get your PVC, I laughed because I was on the platform and I made it known to them or to people there that getting PVC in some parts of the country is like impossible. It's like an impossible miracle, if I can say that. And it's obvious, and I probably want to blame, I've been indicting INEC, I've been shouting in my own private space that INEC has to do more to convince someone like me that it's not biased. Because I can tell, I have a friend that left her home in Port Harcourt like 4 a.m. and by 6 p.m. all she could do was just put her name down for registration. When you go to some parts of the country, you see figures, 80% compliance, PVC collection, 85% compliance, and you are wondering what happened, how is that possible? So it's it goes beyond the PVC or getting your PVC. We can make all the noise, we could do the advocacy with so much fervor and what we have, and it doesn't go far. But that's why I said if the government of the day makes it a point of duty to come up with these positive narratives, because now you criticize the president, you're accused of hatred. That's one thing you have to do. You come up with a story, you bring back black. In fact, the way your pages get screened, locked down these days, you keep wondering, who is implementing this security thing here? So the government already has to be patriotic, has to be more nationalistic, has to be more sensitive. The part will be a reflection of what we go on there to search for. Probably I will not want to just ease myself of this stress and go to Google, please, how do I sleep at night? But the government has done it for. I probably want to say, okay, so what's the stage of the implementation of the appropriation act? At what level is it? What's the new health bill? Those are things we need. But we cannot go on such platform to search for that if we are so disenfranchised. Yeah.
From the same event, which Google sort of handled, there was a part where they talked about the number of Nigerians online, and it was something around 47 or 48 million Nigerians are active online. That is such a minute number when you put it side by side the voting population, which is over, I think, 130 million. I'm not sure what exactly numbers are.
And the voting population is around 50 million there.
Are you talking of registered? We're not talking of registered voters now. We're talking of people over 80.
Voting population should be maybe 90 million or
over
80
million.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you put that now, there's a huge number, is my point now, of people who are not online, who are not interested in all these conversations we're having, who probably don't even understand what we're analyzing. But the most important thing is, how do we get them interested? Because this seems to be sometimes the most manipulated in all of these rural regions and rural communities where it's 500 naira, sometimes promises that are not kept. How do we start getting those people in these conversations?
People who are not online, some of them watch TV, some of them listen to radio, some of them can be attracted by billboards. That's why other forms of promotion, communications, advertising are not left out for social media. Social media is just one part. It's huge, but then it's still just one part. So we leverage on other platforms. People hold town hall meetings all the time. Communities do all that. There are outreaches, there are programs by NGOs and all that. So yeah, those are opportunities to reach all those people who do not have access to the internet. In the end, information that starts, stories that start online, events that start online usually cascade to the offline. It's me, for example, knowing that my cousin is not online, I'll gist him when we're talking on phone or when we meet or when we hang out or something. So the population, as far as I'm concerned, if 40 plus million people, Nigerians, are online, that's huge. That's actually huge. That's like a huge percent, considering power, epileptic power supply, cost of internet and all that.
Because that's thanks to the mobile platforms.
Yeah, if this amount of people are online, it's really, really huge. One person can reach another person.
Do you think that's possible with poverty being so rife? And they talk about extreme poverty now. When you're trying to educate someone on how powerful their vote can be, and the next person comes and says, "Hold this carton of noodles."
Well, but I think one of the service providers did so well is probably making a lot of options when it comes to bundle subscription, so you can just stick to your limit. Just do as much as you can afford. Maybe 100 naira for 10 MB, and that's you can probably conserve the use, spread the use, and can get there. Well, poverty is everywhere. It's everywhere. India has a very high percentage of poor people, but that doesn't mean the democracy there is not ripe or is not vibrant. When you talk about disseminating information down to people of social media, I think that's where the traditional rulers play a very vital role. That's why most politicians, they want to get their message down to the people. They don't care even if you're in one village, they just get the obas or the Bale or the district head, as it is in the north, or probably the Emir, and it goes down. Like northern Nigeria, the traditional ruler is both the traditional ruler and the spiritual ruler. So it plays a driver for you. So that's why politicians are always like working hand in hand with these people. Now the governments of the day too can do a lot by working hand in hand with them. I'm not saying to get them elected or elected back into office, but preaching what we're clamoring for. If you want them to know how important their vote is, why they should not sell it, let the traditional ruler calls his title chiefs and they come in, Oba in council or the Emir in council. It gives them the directives, they go down, they tell the family head or the locality head and do this, and the message will spread. It might take a while. We might not achieve it for 2019, but probably we'll achieve it for 2023. God willing, we are all alive till then.
On a final note now, like I said, I don't know, are these things you are interested in? Because we've talked about, okay, maybe it's not something that we here probably searched for. But you are polymobile, you are interested in conversations around politics, but you're also interested in things like this, aren't you? You've searched some of these things, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Does that take away the fact that you're also interested in this?
It doesn't. It doesn't take away that fact at all. It doesn't take away that fact. I won't search for how to get PVC because I have my PVC already. I won't search for people who are going to be possible presidents because I'm politically conscious enough to have a list in my head. So and I'm having conversations with other people on social media as well whenever I'm in doubt. So there are certain things I won't search. But stuff like how to make banga soup. Banga soup. I need to search for it.
Are you guilty of any of these?
No, one. And there's some things I love searching for that can never be listed there for security reasons. Like I love, what type of gun is this?
We need to go now.
Okay.
Thank you very much for joining us today. I also believe this list is going to change very soon. I mean, politics is going to be very hot now.
You see names. You see names.
Yes.
Well, thanks for joining us. Like I always say, you can follow the conversation on Twitter. WhyNigerTV is the handle. The hashtag to follow is Rubbin Minds. You can also visit the website WhyNigerTV. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you next Sunday.